I recently converted my Ford Transit Custom into a fully functional camper van. Now, as happy as I am with the conversion, there is a few things that I wish that I did consider at the start. Now, here are my 5 top things to be considered when converting your very own van. The very last is the most important, so you might want to stick around for that. So before I show you around the van, I just want to thank all my subscribers so far, as we have reached over 1,000, which is absolutely insane. If you are into van life, van adventures or anything like that, then please do subscribe, jump onto the channel and you can see everything that I've done. You can see the whole build of this van and all my adventures. So guys, let me show you the van. So that's the outside, let's check the inside out. So now you've seen the van, let's talk about the 5 considerations I think that you should bear in mind when converting your own van. And these are very important, or at least in my mind anyway. Number 1. Wheels. I recently had these silly magnolia looking wheels on the van, so they had to change. So this was one of the first things that I changed on the van. When I did change these, I wasn't planning on actually converting the van. I was just going to drive it around as a daily, and I wanted it to look smart. So I wanted big wheels, low profile. I went with 20-inch wheels and low profile. Now this is all good, but one thing to consider when it comes to wheels and you are converting your van is what sort of terrain you're going to be going on. Now I went for the 20-inch wheels, as I've just shown you, which are low profile, and the problem I have with them is, well, potholes. We live in the UK, there's potholes all over the place. On one of my videos on the channel where I went to Wales, I pulled up at Barley Lake on and inspecting my vehicle where I was. I realised that I'd got a massive bulge in one of my tyres, so that had to be replaced. Now obviously you can get all-terrain tyres, but you can't get them on 20-inch wheels to fit this van, but you have them on 18-inch wheels. So therefore, one of the things to consider, which is very important, is wheels. I might even change these now to all-terrain simply because of the terrain that I'm going to be going on. Well, to be honest, they cost exactly the same. They cost me £1,000 with the tyres, although I've already had to replace one tyre. But I didn't consider this at the start. Next up, number 2, furniture. As you can see, I went for the U-shaped furniture. With this, I've got plenty of storage, but what I've also got is a very large bed. I see no end of people saying to me that they only wish they went for the U-shaped due to the size and the comfort, because the problem with the rock and roll bed, as well as it is good because you've got the 2 extra seats, and yes, it looks okay on eyesight, but you know, you've got all this space here which is taken up by cupboards, when in actual fact you've got just as much storage with the U-shaped bed because you've got all the cabinets underneath as well as your boot. So that there, I think, is also an important thing to factor into your build. Make sure you choose the right furniture because you'll only regret it afterwards. Number 3 is power. Of course, what you have to consider with this one is what are you going to be running and what sort of power are you going to need? What sort of battery? Are you going to need solar? And you know, you need to think also about, are you going to be off grid or are you just going to be going out for the day? These are all things you need to consider. Now for myself, I went for 200 watts of solar and 140 amp hour AGM battery. I didn't go for lithium as I'm not going off grid that long at a time. So for me, the AGM battery was a better consideration for me, as lithium batteries can be very expensive. You really need to price this into the factor of what you're going to be needing, what you're going to be powering, and how long are you going to be off grid. I went with the Renogy DC to DC charger, which also had the MPPT built in it, which obviously helps with the solar and the rest of that. But I only needed it for 12 volts, so I haven't got an inverter. I don't run air fryers, toasters, anything like that, but this is something I can always add. Now, I've been off grid for a couple of days and I had absolutely no problem with the power that I've got. Obviously, the solar was generating power into the battery. It also charges when I drive and I had no issues at all. Now, I was using the night heater, I was charging up phones, tablets, having the lights on. Absolutely no problem at all. Is it really essential for me to have a lithium battery? Not at this moment. It's a small van and I only use it for small trips. But if I was to go for further afield and longer, maybe. But again, this is something you need to consider. Number 4, windows. Let me explain a little bit more what I mean. I installed my own windows as many other people do. Did I have problems with it? Absolutely. So after I installed them, I took it for a wash and it was like Niagara Falls. It was just water coming through here. And the same with this window, there was water coming through at the top corner. What I realised was after I'd fitted them and obviously they were leaking, I had the option. Do I take them out myself, get a cheese wire, possibly scratch my van, maybe try some other methods, I don't know. Or do I reseal it at the top and then it looks scruffy? I chose not to do any of that. I rang somebody up and asked them how much it would be to refit them. Now I got quoted £150. £150 to take the windows off and then to fit them. So one thing you need to question yourself is really, do you want to redo them? Do you want to take the risk when really it's not that expensive in the first place? Now I have had a lot of subscribers say that they had the exact same problem. Yes, they fitted them. No, they didn't fall off. But when it comes to getting wet, they leaked. So again, something to consider. Probably pay someone to do it. And finally, the big reveal. What is the most important thing that you should factor when doing a van conversion? Well, I think it's quite obvious. The van. Yes, you need to consider how big do you want the van? Do you want a little day van like me? Have you got a big family and need to take your family out as well? Is it just going to be for you and your wife? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. Now, when I first considered doing a van conversion, I actually wanted a bigger van. I wanted a Sprinter or a Crafter. And well, that didn't happen. Well, they were just pipe dreams a few years ago and I never acted on it. I bought this van and it was for other purposes. I didn't buy it for converting, but in the end, that pipe dream turned into reality and I chose to convert it. And I'm glad that I did. Now, after converting this, am I happy with this van? Absolutely. In this van, I've got everything. I've got a fan, I've got the heating, I've got the sink, I've got everything. I've got cooking instruments. I didn't go for cooking inside because, well, I like to cook outside if it's sunny. But would I have liked a bit of a bigger van? Yes, I'm not going to lie, I would like a bigger van. I would like a bed that's at the back and, you know, a little bit more space and maybe you can stand up. But that being said, you don't need all that. This is perfectly fine and it's also my daily drive, so I can drive around and not worry about the size of it, the parking, maybe height restrictions. This suits all my needs. Also, yes, it is only a little van. It's only a Transit Custom and it's a short wheelbase. But in this van, I've had 3 people, 2 dogs, and we've had successful trips with more than enough space. There is no problem. So I do wonder if I did go for a larger van, would it just be wasted money, wasted space? You've got to think driving around as a daily at about 20 miles per gallon, it's going to be costly, right? But we all have different needs, and if you've got a big family and you intend to go out with your family, then you will need a bigger van. Now, the only thing that I can say on this whole subject of the van conversion is be careful about listening to other people. If you have a plan, stick to it. When people ask me about, do you need a fan? Do you need the heater? Do you need the wind? The list goes on. And the truthful answer is, it's what you need as a person. What do you want in your van? How do you want to construct it? How do you want it to look? For me, personally, the fan is great because it releases all the fumes, it keeps the air cool, it gets rid of smells, it also stops the condensation at night, but some people might not want that. I'd advise it, but it's your build. If you want to build your van, you build it your way. Don't listen to other people. People will tell you not to do this, not to do that. And that's the beauty of building your own van. It's your van, build it how you want. Don't listen to the naysayers. So that's it, guys. That's what you need to consider. They're my top 5 considerations that you need to think about when building your own van. I'm perfectly happy with this van. This van suits me to a T. It gets me from A to Z. It takes me all around the UK. I've had some great times in it. Check the channel out. You'll see my videos and there's plenty more to come. But yes, be careful of your decisions when picking and converting your van. My only advice, don't listen to the naysayers and get it done. That's enough for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Catch you in the next one.